How would changing the height
Sorry,
affect
there's a
the
little
experience?
delay
How
getting to third
about how far
section.
away the stairs are from or the ladder is from the pool's edge?
You'll need
So
to
tell
pull
me
up the
about a slide
PowerPoints and
view
check to see
inside.
where it dropped
Let's
off.
just imagine.
Sorry.
And then we're going to use our grid to kind of map that out, right? Because you have your grid on your whiteboards, right? So if they say I would put it 10 feet here and I make my ladder 30 feet tall, okay, what would that look like on our grid? Let's imagine what kind of experience that would be on our slide. Okay, so if I've made this choice about my ladder, then when I draw the slide, what does that tell me? How does that relate to this? Is this making sense? So the height of the ladder and how far away it is, that tells me how steep that water slide is going to be. So that relationship tells me a lot about the way things are changing. Okay. Any thoughts on that? Okay. It leads into a Desmos lesson that's great for next week. One that we used last year where you've got like parallel slopes and slopes that are the same that have different 10 to 5 is the same as 2 to 1. And those are parallel slopes when you map them out. That's for next week. Okay, right now we're just mapping out those ratios. We're just showing what those would look like. We're either creating it or we're naming it, right? So I might give them directions for a ladder and then they build it on their grid, or I might build a ladder and they might give me the directions for where to put the ladder and how tall it is. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. What other ladder positions would be good to try? Describe your slide. Is it too sleek, too flat, just right, so on. Write it as a ratio, write it as a fraction. Okay, so this phase 2 understanding is kind of big. Model the ratios in a variety of ways. Counters, tape diagrams, parallel number lines. I don't know why I said, parallel number lines. And rise and run. Describe ratios in lowest terms. Understand that equivalent ratios have a multiplicative relationship, not additive, and evaluate the benefits of each model. Okay, so this last thing goes with what Christina was talking about. Mixing paint, notice and wonder. So I'd ask my two T's, what do you notice? What do you wonder? And then what do you know about combining colors? What's happening here? What does this mean? What do you know? What experiences do you have with combining colors? How would you describe the difference between this green and this green? I wonder how much of each color there is in these different variations. So we know green is blue and yellow. Oh, blue and yellow. But how much blue and how much yellow can vary, right? Okay, so Kristen mixed 10 drops of red and 2 drops of yellow to make the perfect Oklahoma City Thunder color. Okay, so give me 3 other combinations that would also match my perfect orange color. Because if I do too much red or too much yellow, my color's gonna be off, right? Okay, so this is an opportunity to introduce or talk about or to come back to lowest terms. What if she needed a lot of paint? A lot. What units could she use? So instead of 10 drops of red and 2 drops of yellow, Kristen could use for a whole room, maybe 10 cups of each, right? And the 10 to 2 would stay the same, but the units that I'm using would be larger. Does that make sense? What if she's painting a whole house? Gallons? What if she's painting the whole Thunder Arena? Maybe. Okay, probably still be gallons. We don't really have good units for that in English Standard units. Okay, so make it rich. We could use counters to model that. That's why I picked orange, because there's red and yellow. We have red and yellow counters. What it would look like with number lines or a tape diagram. Christina made a mixture of 12 drops red and 4 drops yellow. So how's her mixture going to compare to mine? Is it going to be the perfect orange? How do you know? Okay, so we can extend a table just like we did with Kayla's drinks. Create a combination of red and yellow paint to make the perfect orange, a different number of units. can you predict how many units of red it would take if you used this many units of yellow? I've thought about taking this out because I don't want you to rush to this because we're going to support this more next week. But this is an okay place to get to if your 2Ts are figuring out ratios and thinking about them conceptually. We could compare different ratios though. So how does 50 to 20 compare to my perfect orange? How does 2 to 1 compare? Will it be more red or more yellow or perfect? And how does this compare to fractions is something I hope you guys come back to over and over again. So Desmos has this really great tool where you can pick how many cups of blue and how many cups of yellow you add, and then it like mixes the colors and you get your custom paint color. So you can increase the blue and decrease the yellow and do whatever you want, and then pour it into the white paint and see what your color looks like. We are going to use more of these tools next week, but it's too cool. So if they need to be able to play around with color, this is a way that we could do that. We could use Desmos. If you think your 2T really needs this, the color does not make sense to them, we can come up with another choice. But I did have a tutor last year actually bring paint to their session. They had like a little paper plate and red, yellow, and blue and white on their plate, and they mixed different amounts of colors to try.
I don't know what your next slide is. So
I know. There's just different variations of this, like what would that paint look like? And then we could provide a table and ask questions based on that. And here's some practice test questions. Well, that's phase 3 understanding. And then we have supporting tasks. That's so funny that Christina is squinting. Have anybody played the game I Spy with My Little Eye, the color yellow? Anybody played that?
We do.
We do too. It's a great card game. So it's a guessing game. And kind of like what you guys did where you had those ratios, you could play a guessing game with the ratios. I Spy with My Little Eye, ratio of 9 to 1. And then you would ask yes or no questions to try to figure out what I was seeing that was that ratio. So my 9 to 1 ratio is the 9 panes to each window. Yeah. So you could keep asking for yes or no clues about what that is. Another test question, and I wanted to show you guys this. How much time do I have? This is Oscar's idea. So it's Jeopardy practice with ratios. So we have all of these tasks and you should have picked them up. You would cut them apart and you could use them individually through the week as just good questions to ask. But you could, I know, it was valuable.
This is my things.
She made the cute things. So there's variation of questions. Cut them apart, and then Oscar just wrote a dollar amount on the back of the cards. And he laid them out and he let his 2Ts pick a dollar amount and try to answer that question. And if they answered it, then they got those points. So it was just like a spontaneous game of Jeopardy. And it worked really nicely. That makes sense?
Can I see my amazing idea now?
Yes, please.
It goes with that. So you know how, wait, I gotta be on the video. See, so these people can see me who are recording. Oh, low battery. All right, so you know how like we have all the stickers and several of you have several stickers, but some of you have no stickers. There's a big request in the 2T survey that people need to get stickers. So if you're not using them, please get them. The whole box is here. But you could easily say, like on your board, like show me something that's a ratio of 3 to 5. So instead of them writing the numbers for you, they have to make you a picture or their partner. And so you can use the stickers to make a ratio on an index card or paper that's cut up into index card sizes so that they're just there. Because, so mine is, can you see it? I don't have glasses. Okay, what ratio do you see? 3 to 4 to 3. Micah, you can see, right? Good eyesight. What do you see? So what were your numbers referencing?
I was doing blue to red to
And what were yours? Wow, that's like some real creativity there. I was going happy faces to stars. Was my other option, happy faces and stars, you see? So if you guys want to pick up some more, your kids can create these, then you tuck them in your thing, and then the next day for your warm-up activity or whatever, or you have time at the end, you're like, which one of these are the same? Because you probably are gonna use like 3 to 5 frequently, and then they use the same cards they just created for you. They did all the hard work to make them. You know, you could also switch with your neighboring group the next day and say, hey, they made these, which ratios do you see? And something they've made and they're using their hands. If they're using their hands, they're not doing what? They're not using their phones. Thank you for watching my video. If they're using their hands, they can't be using their phones. Okay, so have them make them for you. Use our stickers.
Yeah, and we have those little cards.
Yeah,
Those
they have the
little
tiny
colorful
cards.
that
And if
you
you need
can-
more, you got them.
Yeah.
Okay, so have fun with it. Let them make things.
Yes.
Don't do all the heavy lifting.
And this is